Hello, everyone. This particular episode is not about any particular subject, but it is about the whole thing. It is about what Professor Goswami works for, what he is like, and how he does his work. What are his plans about taking quantum activism forward? People who we get actually a number of questions about all this stuff. So we decided that why don't we hear from the horse's mouth what it is all about. So let me welcome Professor Goswami on the screen.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Kushanu.
Hello. So very warm welcome here. We will, as we discussed before, talk about some of the basics, and this is a part where a lot of curiosity is generated among the viewers. They want to know more about your work and how you do it, how people can access it, and the whole stuff. So, to start with, if you would tell us what is quantum activism.
Yes, that's a good starting point. Quantum physics has changed our worldview for the better. Better why? Because right now, as most people know, the worldview is polarized. There is two diametrically opposite, incompatible with each other worldviews that people are looking at. There is one segment. This segment has monopolized the media, monopolized the uh, academe everywhere in the world, and the belief is that everything is made of matter. Science has made this dogma as part of the only way of doing science. Science, you might remember, everyone, is a way of knowing, and this way of knowing was considered to be better, and it is in some ways than the old way of knowing, which was through theory and experience. Science has made it better in this sense. It is less controversial, to be sure. Theory and experiment. Experiment that everybody can see and in principle check. Okay. And if you add experience to it, that would have been also wonderful. But this science, this prejudice, materialism, that excludes that because materialism says our experiences are meaningless. Everything is matter. Experience is not possible under that circumstances. So experiences must be just ornamental phenomena that happens but has no explanation, and we don't need any explanation because it has no consequence. So uh, when we get into learning with that attitude, what happens is that our sensibility is deeply attacked. Our sensibility, in the sense, our experience says that spirituality is real, and religions, they're based on this idea that spirituality is real, consciousness is real, values are real. Now, the good news is that these two worldviews, diametrically opposite worldview, one says matter is real, and the other says no, consciousness is real, value is real. All this experience is also real. And so there is hugely divided polarization that we live with. Confused. Quantum physics, as I have shown through my work, and Henry Stapp, another physicist, Casey Blood, they too simultaneously discovered the same lesson from quantum physics. Quantum physics is full of paradoxes, that is well known. But all the paradoxes can be solved, all of them can be solved if we give up that materialist prejudice. If we instead accept the spiritual metaphysics that consciousness is the ground of all being. With that metaphysics, we can fit both spirituality, religion, and also, of course, do science, but science beyond the limits imposed by materialist philosophy. So it is a integrative way of doing science truth to the spirit of science, namely the exploration of truth, what is, no compromise, no dogma, dogma free, both religious dogma and so called materialist dogma. So, in this way, it's better. And in specifically, it brings quantum principles. That's how it becomes better. We also have our job to do. This quantum physics is clear on. Quantum physics is also clear on that there are ways that we can do it, quantum principles to use. This principle will sound kind of foreign initially. We have to explain. Principles are non-locality, which means signal-less communication. I'm sure still this explanation for most viewers. And then second principle is discontinuity instead of continuity, or not instead of, in addition to continuity. And finally, something that really is kind of obtuse to the initiate, something called tangled hierarchy. But now hear me out. This is the thing. I already told you materialist philosophy excludes all creativity, spirituality. Spirituality requires creativity in a fundamental way. Creativity is the invitation of the new in our life. Materialism says that only matter is there and matter cannot change. It is what it is. You get what you get, and that's it. You're stuck with it. There's no creativity. So obviously we need creativity. And creativity, the actual empirical research has shown, requires discontinuous leaps in thought, not algorithms. Algorithmic thought is continuous, not rational thinking. That's continuous. Logical thinking, continuous. Discontinuous. This only quantum physics has that. We call it quantum leap, electron jumping from one level to another without going through the intermediate space. That's just an example. Does it happen? Yes, it happens in creativity. It's documented. It happens in biological creativity. There are fossil gaps that can be explained as this. It happens in quantum healing. People overnight get healed from serious disease like cancer. That's documented. So there are documented cases of discontinuous leap that could not happen in a continuous algorithmic, logical, rational way. And by including this, obviously quantum science is open you to the infinite potentiality that you have, that all of us have, in going beyond our machine-like behavior that we do have. We do have conditioned characteristic. Materialist science is not built on emptiness. It describes part of the human being, which is very conditioned. Quantum science is expanding it, expanding our horizon. It's really giving us infinite possibilities to choose from. So that's the other thing, choice. We have choice. We replace the change that comes in Newtonian physics with force, we replace it by choice. Instead, we can choose. We can also persuade someone to choose. So if we follow quantum worldview, war will become a thing of the past because we don't settle our differences through violence, through force. We settle it through face-to-face, heart-to-heart discussions, including non-locality. Here is non-locality comes in. Non-locality comes in because with non-locality, I can communicate you without signals, without using external objects like a signal. I communicate with you by being one with you momentarily. Empathy. Normally people call it empathy. Instead of local connection, we are inherently connected to consciousness, and it is in that deep consciousness, non-local consciousness, where we connect once again. So non-locality is important. That is also a quantum principle that we have to learn to use. Finally, look at relationship. Okay, non-locality is very good addition to normally local relationships. That much is very clear. Why do we need this so-called tangled hierarchy? because we also have intimate relationship. In intimate relationship, mere non-locality is not enough. Just one moment you are in empathy and that's it. Try to base a relationship on that basis. You'll find that your negative emotions that materialism is stuck with, your me-centeredness that materialism predicts that you have to have because that is a characteristic of brain. Negative emotions, pleasure, me-centeredness, these are built into the brain. That's the materialist way. And it is true. The Newtonian brain is stuck with that. Quantum physics is saying, no, brain also has quantum brain. And then if you can access that, you access the infinite potentialities for change. But what is the magic in that in as far as the intimate relationship is concerned, like love? Materialist science says love is sex. Forget love. It doesn't exist. Just like forget creativity. It doesn't exist. That's materialist answer. But we know experientially, every human being knows that not only love exists, love is what gives you the juice of life. Health, mental health, everything depends on love. Quantum physics not only validates it, it says you can actually build love in your relationship by giving up the hierarchy with which, since millennia, we have been creating separateness between people. Hierarchy. I'm better than you. I'm superior than you. I am the commander. You have to obey. This is the rules by which society plays since millennia. We never have been able to change this. Even spiritual traditions, they discovered non-locality in principle, philosophically. They discovered empathy. They give all kinds of practice for that. But they miss discontinuity and they miss big one in tangled hierarchy. This is what quantum science is giving us in addition. We can build relationship which is circular, which is two-way. You are important to me, I'm also important to you. Both you and me can cooperate in a joint way. And this makes non-locality between us on a more permanent basis, not just those momentary moments of non-locality, but also in an ongoing way, you and I feel connected. That connectivity is the key word for transformation in quantum science. So this is what a quantum activism is about. We are also activists. We protest against the materialist dogma. We protest against the religious dogma. That one also materialist science does. But we don't take sides. We don't say both sides are, this side is right, this side is wrong. No, we clearly see that both sides are right in some ways. And then we say, well, okay, that look, quantum worldview is integrating it. Why are we stuck with this polarization? All you have to do is to learn this, how to use this principle to transform yourself, and then you have it. That's a long answer, but that introduces
To
quantum
sum it
activism.
up, yeah, to sum it up, can we say that quantum activism is a thought movement where we challenge the materialist worldview, the prevalent worldview, the dogmas, the separateness that are prevalent in the world today, and we look for integrative approach to everything with the help of quantum science, the knowledge that we have got from quantum science, as well as the spiritual traditions, as well as the materialist tradition. We are not throwing anything away. We are integrating something. We are challenging the establishment in a way that is congruent, and this challenge is for the benefit of the human species or the earth or the universe as a whole.
Yes, and to just add to that, it also gave us an improved epistemology. The metaphysics is better because it's an integrative metaphysics, but the epistemology, how you prove that your metaphysics is right, that also got better because in addition to theory and experiment, we now have validated experience. So, and experience is crucial. As everybody knows, psychotherapy is the beginning of improving the experience of a mentally sick patient, right?
Mhm.
Similarly, a person can be ignorant, and education is the way to improve the mental health and thinking ability of the ignorant person, right? So, in this way, experiences are obviously important. Otherwise, why would we have education? Why would we have healing? No need,
Yeah.
because the person is, machines don't complain except what you can get out of a machine is impaired, certainly. You cannot get from a defective machine what you can get for a healthy machine, but that's just about repair. Human beings are
Mhm.
not like that. You can repair the physical, but that doesn't work. Otherwise, there would be no mental health emphasis. So our most physical health actually are due to mental stress, emotional
Right.
stress. They would not be like that. It would be always some physical difficulty showing up. And so, in our experience, we know that experience have practical consequences on my health and happiness. We cannot just say experiences are meaningless because that's how we do things. We do things because we experience them. Otherwise, we have no role to play. We are just machine. We are onlookers about things just take care of themselves. Then we don't need any healing, etc. Things just will take care of themselves. Why do we need anything, any social system at all? So, materialist science is a stupid thing, as stupid as the religious dogmas. Dogmas are always stupid. They're signs of ignorance, they're not signs of intelligence. The crucial thing is that science's real spirit is destroy dogmas. If you need dogma, not to be trusted, not to be trusted. You have not got the answer, and this is why you have a dogma. So look for the answer. It may take time, that's okay. And we do quantum activism with that spirit to bring back that spirit.
Right. See, in the current world order, the way we see, it's all separateness. Even rich poor was always there. East was there for millennia, and the different type of the governments that are coming in various countries, the dictatorship and other stuff, which is sort of creating a huge separateness again. We see large countries following those patterns where there is big unrest among its citizens, even for vaccination or not vaccination. So this is a time where somehow the world is trying to, tearing at the seams and trying to fall apart. That kind of a scenario, global warming, climate change, whatnot. And in this scenario, what do you think is the importance of quantum activism?
Because it has solutions. This is the thing that one has to recognize first. The divided worldview and the two poles of this divided situation, religion and science, materialist science. Religion has the first crack of solving our problems. Obviously, it couldn't. This is how modern science came along. And then modern science did solve some of our problems. One must not forget that. But why? During that period, science and religions had a truce, and people were doing both. People were not throwing away the values, throwing away ethics. People were not throwing away value of experience. So we were going in the right direction. We developed democracy, participation for everyone in politics. We developed capitalism, which is again the idea is to make capital available to the middle class, and middle class grew. In America, at least for a while, there was 70% of the country was middle class. Can you believe it? And now all that is gone. Why? Because ever since the 80s, this polarization happened. Materialist science was born because some scientists, academics, they got hungry for power. They declared that we can do without any spiritual idea at all. Throw away the values, throw away even truth. So, what science as a dogma will convince everybody that this works. We'll do everything on the basis of evidence. So, health science becomes evidence based, mental science, mental health science became evidence based, You cannot do science with evidence, and theory needs creativity to create them because we are creating a new thing, something that could not be explained before. You're trying to explain that. It always has depended on creativity. Where do these theories that materialist science use come from? They came from people's creativity. So this science is an anachronism to itself, and it is experimentally disruled. It's completely disbanded. It cannot handle ideas like non-locality or discontinuity. Discovery of these two ideas in our experiences in experimental data have ruled out the materialist metaphysics once and for all. People are not accepting it, just like religion still don't accept the idea of evolution. Now that is like 100 years, 150 years old idea, so much evidence for it, not Darwin's theory, but I'm talking about the data, fossil data, which shows evolution. But religions don't accept it. Similarly, for 30 years, we have quantum worldview. Science and spirituality has been integrated. We have demonstrated non-locality experimentally. We have demonstrated discontinuity experimentally. We have even showed some elementary studies are showing the efficacy of intimate love, which shows the efficacy of tangle hierarchy. So,
Good things take time. Well, this is the say philosophical part of it. If we come to a practical part, then how quantum activism could be used practically, like people in their everyday lives.
Yeah, so I already have given sufficient hint, I think, to the you and to the audience in saying that health, mental health, these things require quantum physics. We cannot really heal someone from emotional stress staying within a worldview that created the problems. Worldview, can a worldview create the problem? Yes, it can. Take the case of love. If the worldview says love doesn't exist, immediately this enormous healing power of the energy of love goes away. Materialist, well, what is this energy of love? There is no such thing. But as I said, quantum physics not only validates the concept of vital energy, which is what energy of love is, but we also verify the existence. Today, there are machines which will tell you that yes, the energies around your heart can be measured, and it's not physical energy, it's vital energy, but it is measurable. We have now cardiac photography, biophoton emission. These are very definite ways of measuring the energy in the heart. So, in this way, we are really saying that look, these new elements are there. The challenge is how do I bring it into my life? And that's where we do need some transformation. Non locality is not built into the brain. Non locality is not, uh, discontinuity is not built into the brain. Tangle hierarchy is not built into the brain. But is there a training available for the brain, not only for ourselves, that will make the brain into a quantum brain? And we have proven that yes, this is the best part of it. We actually can teach you to develop your quantum brain so that you would not have these shortcomings. Then you will be a better healer, a better educator, a better healer of mental, emotional disorders. You will be even a better business person because businesses are changing too. You mentioned global warming. That's a huge game changer. COVID, huge game changer. We have to face up with this game changers. You cannot count on the existing worldview which created these problems. Yeah, believe it or not, COVID is a creation of modern tendencies in some sense, not entirely. I'm not saying that the modern science created the virus, although some people do believe that it was created in the laboratory. That is not established, and I'm not saying that unless there is evidence. But the point is that the way that viruses are attacking us, this is something very unusual. And it can be anyone's guess, but I think it will be a right guess that our lifestyle, the way we have lived in this polarization, information processing, the way it dominates us, social media, the way it dominates us, misinformation, the way it dominates us, contributes to things becoming crisis. COVID does not have to be a crisis. COVID is a very manageable problem according to sciences, old sciences of medicine. If we follow Ayurveda, if people could be persuaded to follow Ayurvedic techniques, then COVID is very manageable. Yes, some people will suffer, some people can even die, but eventually we get a stable situation much quicker using such ancient medicine systems, especially when quantum science is giving us the understanding of how of these sciences. This integration of in, conventional and alternative medicine is a tremendous achievement because we are able to say we can do these things, we can do these things for people, we can solve the problem of such things as COVID. We really did not have to create this confusion all about the world in which 7 million officially dead, it could very well be 21 million. We just don't know. This is, in Second World War, 60 million people died. It's getting to be that kind of proportion if this kind of chaos that we see today remains. This is just not acceptable. So quantum worldview, quantum science, these programs we have developed, they are very practical. They can show us new avenues to health, new avenues to solve mental disorder, and finally, new avenues to how to be a quantum leader, how to have quantum physics to develop new entrepreneurship so that the society can survive the economic crisis that is coming. Some people say it has already come, but that is debatable. We are managing kind of by tricks, but the tricks are creating a very unstable situation. And that can be solved by using quantum science. Problem of even this political polarization can be solved by using quantum science. But we have to do it. And the only way we can do it is to transform. And it is not easy. Our programs, we are not saying are easy. This differentiates us from many other fly-by-night programs which will promise very easy outcome. But then you just get words. You try to put it in life, you try to put it in changing your profession, you will see that have very limited use. You can get people to sit and wait for something you desire. That's the easy part. But the hard part is that when people come back and say, hey, it didn't happen, why did I pay you so much money? Then all you do is your fault. You didn't do it the right way. You didn't sit the right way. You didn't intend the right way. It's not a good enough satisfactory answer. We don't do like that. We don't give you such easy recipe. We say, okay, you have infinite potentiality, but you have to work for it. We have given you programs to be able to work for it. We give you the knowledge. We also give you the experiences. We give you the exercises. We give you all the ways to transform, keys to transform. And then, of course, ultimately, it's up to you. But there also we created a community for you so that you will get support always.
Right. So these programs that you have already mentioned, the master's program, I think this would be the first of its kind master's and PhD programs anywhere, or if not first, at least very few such programs would exist in the world where quantum science.
There is no transformative master's and PhD
right.
program in this kind of integrative science and spirituality. There just isn't. People talk a lot, and they do teach some experiences, but not a concerted program where the transformation is taught in a measurable way. We not only teach the transformation, we say, okay, there would be measurable practical consequences in your ability once you are transformed, and you can check them out. Like we say that,
Besides,
okay, you can control your emotions. I'll just give you one example. Well,
yeah.
you can control your emotions by suppressing, then you get sick. You can also deal with emotions by expressing, then others get sick, not only you. Everybody gets sick. Our
True,
way,
true.
meditate first, transform, build new brain circuits, and that will equalize the balance the negative emotions in your brain with some positivity. Okay, but how can you check it? You can check it. You can check it by seeing for yourself that even though you will get angry occasionally, how easy it is to for you to come back to normalcy. That time of return to normalcy is a measurement of your transformational acuity. So, in this way, everything experientially not only can be judged by you that you have changed, but also by people you serve. They too will notice that, there is more empathy with this person. You see, so it is completely verifiable every bit of the way. We are a scientific tradition, begin and to end, all the way scientific. Everything has to be applicable, everything has to be verifiable. We do not encourage metaphysics for metaphysics' sake. We do not encourage people to philosophize their way just by talking. Yes, talk has earned the label of talk is cheap, and that is true. But we are not cheap. We are, as I said, it does not cost you much money to take our programs. We are cheap that way, but we are not going to be cheap in terms of how much work you have to put in. It's the hard work, as much hard work as it would take for getting a professional degree elsewhere. They are teaching you a lot of complexity. That's the hardship there. We are teaching you very simple things. So there is no hardship in the conceptual part, but the hardship is in the changing part. Transformation is never going to be easy. Just as the spiritual traditions, not religions, they watered down and they went down the drain because of it. So our experience is already there. We cannot water down what has to be done. But we have made the spiritual transformation much simpler by having discovered the process, scientific process that leads to it. So although we cannot shortchange that, yes, some efforts will be needed, creativity will be needed, these new principles will have to be applied, that requires practice. But we can tell you this, everything being scientific helps in terms of having a process, step-by-step process, that this is what you do. And that helps a lot. But even so, our program is 2 to 3 years for masters and 5 to 6 years for PhD, and cannot be helped. Cannot be helped.
So, besides transformation, of course, that's one of the major goals. What kind of career options can people have when they
Of
enroll for the
course,
course?
our program is called Masters and PhD in Quantum Science of Health, Prosperity, and Happiness. We are very proud that our sponsor, that is the University of Technology in Jaipur, this is affiliated with the University Grants Commission. That's how every university that counts are affiliated in India. Uh, and so we are valid all over the world. It's a valid program. And they too cooperated in terms of creating this name. I'm very appreciative of that. Quantum Science of Health, Prosperity, and Happiness. The 3 words describes our program perfectly. So you are going to be a new leader of how to heal people. new leader of how to bring people to prosperity, and a leader in how to bring people to positive mental health. Mental disorder would be a thing of the past. Positive mental health, seeker of happiness, and more happy as you transform more and more. And because you have the key to happiness, you also have the key to empathy, and therefore you will be able to even heal mental disorder much better than people who just use local means, namely sympathy. And so, every which way, we are teaching people to be better professionals because they will be able to use quantum healing in addition to what is already available. We don't throw away anything, as you already pointed out. So, yes, we create new health professionals, we create new business leaders, business entrepreneurs, and we create, and this is really something to be very proud of, we create really effective mental, emotional health counselors who will be able to change people's lives. This is just so important because people today are not only suffering from mental disorder, but they're suffering from ignorance, which is bound to create mental disorder if they don't watch it. And we correct both. Our mental health practitioners will not only be healers, but also be teachers, like spiritual teaching. They also be able to really give the person tools to use so that they can too climb the ladder of happiness that I mentioned earlier. And then details, of course. At some point, we should talk about some of the details, the new careers.
Great. So, for the viewers, I would like to point out that we have three programs running. One is the master's degree, another is the PhD. And for people who are not really requiring a degree at the moment, we are giving a certificate course as well. And this is a certificate is where you understand the subject very well. And if you complete the certificate, you also get the license to do a quantum activism workshop. This is how you can also spread the word and do something for yourself. You can have all this information on our website, www.amitgoswami.org. If you have any specific information, please email us at info@amitgoswami.org. Uh, I believe that we have been able to give a basic idea of what the programs are all about, what quantum activism is all about, what are the key things, what are the benefits of having quantum activism in this particular period. I'm not saying this is the period. Such kind of a program, integrative approach, has never been attempted before, and this is something which can really make a marked difference in the way world affairs are being made. And forget about the world. Most of us are still very much me-centered. We think about ourselves. Even from that point of view, this is going to help us as individual enormously. So this is a program which is not easy, very clearly demonstrated. So those of you who think you have that in you, where you can really go after transformation, really want to make lasting change, not only in yourself, want to live a happier life, and want to pay a price for it, not only in terms of money, but the kind of effort you put in. If you have that in you, do give us a mail, send us a mail, and we will definitely get back to you and we will see if we can connect. Thank you, Professor Goswami. I think this was a wonderful talk. So we'll probably catch up some other day on a similar kind of a talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you.